Okay, so I've got a Castagnari 1914 here with a sort of particular layout that I designed for it. So I'm just going to sort of talk you through it and yeah, show you why I've put the accidentals the way they are and what that lets you do with it. So yeah, you know, it's a 21 button on the outside and then plus two extra accidental buttons, and you can do a surprising amount of extra stuff with those that'll let you play in quite a few extra keys. Particularly since it's this is the 12 bass version of this box, you can get it with 8 as well. But having 12 here, yeah, just means you've got the extra chords that let you play in some different keys. So the extra basses are the standard ones you usually get on a 12 bass DG box. It's DG, by the way. So at the top we've got F on the pull, B flat on the push, E flat on the push, and F sharp on the pull, which means you've got every bass apart from C sharp and G sharp. So yeah, that lets you get all the the important chords for most keys you're ever likely to play in. And then in terms of what the extra buttons do, so it's fourth button start, which I'd always recommend for just about any DG really, unless it's one with like a particularly short keyboard and you need to fit the high notes on. But if it's at least 11 buttons on the outside row, fourth button start, always the way to go. And it's what's called the low G scale or Anahata layout, which means that the second button on each row give you these extra low notes, giving you a whole low scale of G major, and in the same directions that you get them on the G row. So you've got low G, low A, B, C, D, and then obviously yeah, you're up into notes you've got on any normal DG box. But yeah, those for instance, I'm just going to flip some chords through in here. Yeah, before we even get into the really exotic buttons, just having these low notes, good for playing tunes like, so the old Morpeth ramp uses a lot of these low notes. That kind of thing. That means you can make these big chords on the right hand as well. You've got like low G all the way down, bottom of your G major chord, C major with C at the bottom, and A major as well, because we've got that A on the pull. You'd normally have that low A on the push on any DG box, but having it on the pull is good. Yeah, especially playing like tunes in A that have the low A in, and then you can it's push on the hill in A, but yeah, you obviously want to be able to start with your A chord on that first note, the low A, so that's nice to have. And then as we get to the less common buttons, I mean it's so on a lot of DG boxes you'd have two accidentals buttons, and the accidentals you'd normally have, so this one here is fairly standard, B flat and G sharp. And different boxes have these both ways round. I've got it what you'd call the harmonic way round, I think of it as, rather than the slidey way round, because these are in the directions that let you sort of make up chords with them and use them to fit into tunes that are in different keys. So what I mean by that is like the B flat's on the push, so that's going to go with your B flat chord if you're playing a tune in F or B flat. Or the E flat, yeah, for tunes in B flat. Handy in G minor as well. So you can get all the notes of the G minor chord, including that B flat on the push. It comes in handy if we're playing in G minor. I will show you some tunes in some of these keys in a minute, by the way, but I'll just talk you through the layout first. And then the G sharp, that puts the G sharp on the pull. And pretty much all the time if you're using a G sharp in a tune, it's usually that you want the E major chord with it. Tunes in like A major or A harmonic minor, and some other keys use that A major chord, E major chord, sorry, with the G sharp. And then, so yeah, that's one you might have on normal two-row boxes, and the other accidental you'd have on normal two-row boxes is the E flat and F. and I've got that one here, so normally that might be there on a 2-row box, but it's here on the extra buttons, because those are sort of higher accidentals, so that puts that closer to notes you're likely to use it with. So the F on the pole goes with the F chord, and E flat push goes with the E flat chord. Could go with a C minor or various other things. I'll show you some tunes that have got that note in a minute. B major as well. And then, so that just gets us down to basically the 2 extra buttons, 4 extra notes that you wouldn't have on a similarly laid out 2-row box. And that is low F, both ways. I always think it's quite good having F both directions, because again, if the goal is to be able to play in other keys, then you want the notes in each chord available in the same direction as that chord. So whilst you might want your F on the pole to play with a tune in F, making up F chords, that F is also in the B flat, so you can make up your big B flat chord. And the other reason I really like having F both ways is tunes in D minor. It's good being able to play that F, because obviously you've got the D chord both ways, so you could always do D on the pull with your F. But we've got the D's on the right hand or on the push, so it's nice being able to get those together. And also because a lot of the other chords in a D minor tune are going to be C's and A's that we're probably going to be playing on the pull, it really helps out with just, you know, air management and sort of balancing out the directions if you can get your F's on the push. So for that reason, I've also got another F up here, the high F. So we had pull high F on the button that's the same as the E flat button, the button you might normally have there on a 2-row box. And on the pull, this is a high G sharp, again in the direction to go with the E chord. And this one, really important and opens up loads of new tunes, because so most tunes I'd say that are in A major, a lot more of them have the high G sharp than the low G sharp, like There's Still a Repentance. Doing there, that F sharp bass comes in handy for tunes in A major, because you can so you could just play F sharp bass, F sharp chord, use that as an F sharp minor, but you may be familiar already with like A minor 7, B minor 7, crossover chords you can make, and in the same way you can use the F sharp bass with the A chord. That gives you F sharp minor 7 that works nicely in a lot of tunes in A, sometimes in D as well. So yeah, nice tunes like that. And then let's haven't talked about the voices and things, by the way, as well. This has got so it's 3 voice. The switches for 2 of the voices, so there's like 1 middle reed that's always in. So if you turn both of these off, you just get sort of single reed, completely dry sounding, so it's 1 reed. Switch the other middle voice in. And this is tuned fairly dry, but you can hear there's a second reed in there. Just give it a bit of swing. And then you've also got the reed an octave lower, which really thickens things out. Makes it a lot nicer if you're going to play tunes that are high up in the range like that. In fact, I'll show you a bit of that tune, because there's again a couple of these buttons come in handy. Because normally I think the original version of that tune he's got an F sharp bass and chord in there. find the right button. These aren't quite where I'm used to them. But yeah, it's nice having that, yeah, E flat or D sharp sort of in this case on the push. So that lets you get that bit in the B part as a B major chord. Yeah, and in Flat World as well, while we're on this Andy cutting tunes in Continental Mood and Flat World. I won't play the whole thing, but in the B part, so this bit, there's an F sharp bass you want in there really, and the high G sharp that again you wouldn't have on two robotics. So that's, yeah, I think that's correct. It's the original version. And then yeah, we could play tunes in a bunch of other keys as well. So I'll start just playing you through some tunes. In fact, just before I do, the last thing I'll yak on about is the so on the left hand, as well as the 12 bass buttons, you've got these 4 little buttons on the inside, and what they do is, so you might have seen boxes that have stops on the top that put the thirds in and out of the chords. So that means the chords are either you can either have them all major and minor or just all neutral, and then again when you're playing in other keys that's really useful because that just frees up how you're going to use the chords. You can use your G as a G minor, A as an A minor or A major, and so on. And the other one is the low reed in the basses. So yeah, normally your bass is going to sound like deep and bassy, but if you switch those out, it's just taking the lowest reed out of the basses, so you can have kind of lighter basses, and then yeah, so basically you've got 4 combinations. You've got the lowest one is the low basses and the thirds both in. The next one up, thirds still in but takes the low reed out of the basses, and then the top 2 are both the thirds out, and it's the same way around. So the second from the top, that's low basses in, thirds out. Top one is both thirds and low basses out, which might all sound a bit confusing, but you tend to get used to which of those you ever actually use regularly. Right, so I think I'll just shut up now and try and play some tunes on this thing. So yeah, I'll start with, let's see, I'll do one in C major. So this is yeah, Dave the Watchman, which is a really nice tune, written by Tune Van Mille of Narragonia. And yeah, I think it's going to use the some of the low notes like the C, and it's going to use both Fs and the F chord. So that goes like this. Yeah, and I'll play you. I'll play in something in F now. In fact, I'm actually recording this on New Year's Eve of 2023, so I'll play you Auld Lang Syne in F that I've just been looking at, and that's yeah. So that's going to use your Fs in both directions, because again you'll want some of the Fs with the F chords, some of them with B flats and other push chords. Yeah, F and B flat chords on the left hand, and oh, and incidentally, more minor 7 chords that you can make now. So again, we talked about A minor 7, B minor 7, F sharp minor 7. 2 that I really like using a lot, if you can make the stretch, G minor 7, which is the G bass and B flat chord, and the same buttons on the pull give you D minor 7, which is the F chord and the D bass. So use them a lot for this one. I'll do one in minor key next. I'll do one in A minor. So in fact, yeah, because another good thing about these layouts with more buttons is I think it cuts down on the need for having boxes in in different keys. I'd always rather have like one good box that does more things rather than a bunch of different boxes. So if you're playing with GC players and they're playing sort of tunes that are standard repertoire for GC players in the keys they normally play them, this box with the extra notes it'll allow you to do a lot of that. So I'll play you like a Zelda in A minor, which is a really commonly played jig among like French and bal folk players. It's by Philippe Plard and it's in A minor, like it would be played on a GC. But yeah, just by using our again F in both octaves. This is why that extra low one comes in handy. If we can get it right. Another one like that as well, La Malemable. But again, the good thing about having the three voices in as well is if you want to take a GC tune and just play it in the same fingering that you'd play on a GC, so like the Malemable moved up into E minor. I think that sounds really good. Whereas if the trouble on like a two voice box, like if you didn't have that low voice, it's still quite nice, but they get a little bit sort of thin sounding up there in the high part of the range if you're just two voice. Whereas with three voices, nice and thick, and the high part of the range works really well. Okay, I'll play a tune now that's in the A part's in G minor, but the B part's in G major. So the A part needs your B flats. I think that's the only extra button it uses. But then there's places in the B part where it's quite nice to put in the F sharp bass as well. It's called Fubu because of this. So as well as the G minor stuff, it's quite nice to just be able to use that. So in the same way that again, normal layout box, you can do G to G over B leads to C, C to C over E leads to D. You've now also got the option of D to D over F sharp leads to G. Yeah, and I'll play you a tune in F sharp minor, and this this actually doesn't use any of the extra right hand buttons, but just having that F sharp chord on the left hand means that you can do a tune in F sharp minor with proper basses. And it's Farewell to Wally Range, Slip Jig by Michael McGoldrick. So the 1914 Castagnari DG 12 bass version in my recommended layout, and some stuff that it can do. If you're wanting a box that's like more versatile than an ordinary 2-row, but something like a Mori, you put off by the size and weight. This really is nice and compact and more similar in size and weight to a lot of typical 2-row boxes, I think it's just a really good balance of you get the 3 voices, you get all these different possibilities on the left hand as well, but just adding those 4 extra basses and 2 extra right hand buttons really does open out the possibilities of the box and give you loads more stuff you can do. Makes it a lot more versatile, different keys and so on. So yeah, thanks very much.